Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Thrive Not Survive podcast with Coach EO. And she's over there. Yes, I know. It's a bit weird, mind-bending. We're messing with you today. I am asking the questions, yes, and she's on the hot seat. And I love it. Okay, so a little bit about how we met. Because, yeah, you do that to people, Rabi.
Yes.
I have to replicate everything she does. Okay, so a little thing about how we met. We met at a conference. It was Pretend Leap conference. But before then, I had seen a couple of things you had done with Hacking HR on LinkedIn. And I was like, who is that lady? First, with the red hair. Then I was like, okay, so what's she doing? What is TGL Labs? Because somewhere in my mind, I'm like, labs are supposed to be science places. So how does she have a company that is sciencey but she's in HR? And then I decided to do a little bit of research and I realized, okay, that's different. And so I thought one day I will meet her. And then I stalked you officially. Wow, I didn't admit that on camera. I'm not a stalker. I stalked her on LinkedIn until that day when we met. And then I introduced myself. And well, it's been an interesting journey since then. So I'm going to ask you. I'm in control today. So I'm going to ask you, how would you summarize your work and life journey?
Okay. So it's not like the question is strange because I already know that you're going to ask this, but I don't. Now that we're live, how do I summarize it? So I would say life started for me as, I don't know, with a lot of confusion. As a child, I was, one of those children that are very brilliant. You get all the awards, you get all the thing, everybody, your identity is about your grades. Yeah. Okay. I used to be top of class, blah, 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 all of those. The type of child that will be, when it's award day, it's best in this, best in the best in that.
Okay. The ones I didn't really like. But
yeah.
The ones we loved to hate, but
yes.
We knew.
Yes. And I would get, for some reason, I think I've always had this personability. I've always been someone that people would have been warm-ish. Yeah. I like to help people and all of that. So somehow they didn't kill me. Like, even though you'd be angry, it became a thing like, you're joking with Elizabeth and then tomorrow she'll trash you, in the exam hall or something. Like, don't laugh with her, those kind of things. But for some reason, I never got bullied at school, which was very interesting.
Okay.
I got bullied at home. Yeah. A lot of bullying I experienced was in my family. I was the youngest of 9 children in one part of my life, and then the 4th of 8 children in another part of my life. Long story for another.
That's a whole entire podcast there.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was a confusing time growing up. And the only time that I had an identity that was mine, and nobody else in the family, both sides, shared, was with my beards. Only time. And then with dancing, so I used to dance and sing and all of that, and do all of that. So, that type of kid where the older ones, remember I was number 9 of 9, so lots of older siblings. When they come back from university, they're like, this new Janet Jackson song, come and dance it for us, and come and like I would learn the song and learn the choreography. I was that person, and I would be performing for them. But even though I was a painful introvert, I would perform because then they would show me kindness. That's when they're smiling at me and laughing, and I was like the entertainment. I was actually with their friends and everything, and I'll do it and go and look for a dark room to stay, just to replenish. I didn't know. They thought maybe something is wrong with this child. She mental problem or she possessed or whatever. But outside, I would interact. If I had known, it was much later that I understood the thing about introversion and extroversion. and where they were sitting in dark places just by myself. Like nothing is wrong. I just want to be alone. I don't want anybody to come and find me or know that I'm here. So the lights are off. Sometimes I'm even crying, and they're asking me, "What's making you cry? What's making you cry?" I don't know, nothing. Anyway, so I was that type of child, moving in between homes, different stages, where with this, it was just a bit of confusion,
Right.
and my identity or affirmations and all those things were with grades. Yeah. Then there was health. I had health challenges and all of that from a young age, so that also became part of the identity. Then there was now coming out, going to secondary school, trying to figure out who I was. Being in boarding school, trying to just find out what type of people do I like really. You know, they don't always have to be the intelligent people or not people that need you for their grades or something or whatever. Anyway, just trying to figure out who am I. Do I like boys? Do I want a boyfriend now? You know, those kind of things. Not knowing, or do I want to serve God? Am I born again? What am I? You know, just trying everything. And going to university in a school that I never imagined I would be in, because I even discovered the place, like the town, Abraka, when my father said he had gone to enroll me there.
Right. So that's not where you wanted to go.
Oh no, that's not this. It was not in thing. So I spent like an entire year in more confusion. Like why? What do I need to do right in my life to not be thrown into some kind of places, yeah, or situations that I have no control over.
True.
But I don't want to feel despondent. I had years of that. I had years of, I wish, like I had the brains to be in any top university in the world. It was tested, whatever. But politics of family and stuff and all sorts of things. And I was born when my father was already advanced. Yeah.
So there was
So there's no time for all this. Nobody had that time. So I kind of had to train myself, build myself up, parent myself to some degree. Very interesting. So it's not a very good summary, but there were decisions that had to be made. So one thing that got revealed to me in life at some point is when you are at a crossroads. I used to realize that I find myself at crossroads quite
constantly.
And when it's time for crossroads, you don't have anybody to tell you what to do. Even if people are telling you what to do, I found out quickly in different situations that sometimes it's for their interests. It's not about you.
Yes.
And so that you have to save yourself. Nobody's coming to save you. Mentality got in.
Okay.
So I became a one-man army, one girl army, one person army, whatever. I was a tomboy, so I used to call myself one-man army anyway.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, you know how you assume you know someone until you really sit with them and listen and really listen to understand. So I see where the similarities are, but I also see where we're so different, and I see where now some of the conversations we have, where it's coming from, where I'm trying to make a decision and I'm asking you and you're guiding but not telling, because nobody's coming to save you. You have to be your own hero. Wow. Okay. Thank you. Like I said, that's a whole different podcast entirely. So when it comes to work, can you give a summary of how it has been?
Yeah. So part of my evolution as a person was I needed to pick. I just know that I have to be a productive person. Like I have to be contributing somehow. I can't waste space, something like that. So I have to be giving back. And I sort of found myself becoming and leaning as a person of faith. So like I am a Christian. yeah. I'm not the best one. No. If you're looking for the sample of Christianity outside, it might not be me, but that's neither here nor there. Where it matters to me is where I draw my strength from and how I've had trusted proof. So there's a period where I had to figure out what to do with my life to be a productive person. And I'm very science driven. So I took out a survey and asked people in my life, what strengths do you think imagine somebody undergrad asking people to fill survey. Yeah, I was that type of person. Very annoying. And I'll follow up with you to complete the survey. Like, tell me. First round of it, I'd done something like that in secondary school before. When people were filling what we call slum books.
Oh, yes.
I was telling them to fill something else. Like, I'm not interested in slum book. Just tell me, give me feedback about myself. Nobody wanted it. But here, uni, I'm like, yeah, we're about to finish, but I need to know what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. What are the skills that I have? Because I know that sometimes the picture you have of yourself is not always true, complete, or whatever. So I wanted to have a fuller picture. And I asked people, and they were coming back with things. I asked in my family, I asked everywhere. And they were coming back with things like, you know how to bring out the best in people. I'm like, yeah, I enjoy that. Yeah. I somehow feel like that's what I was put in the world for, something. I don't know where it came from, but I live with that. And then they say, you know how you see things like you're seeing it from above. I had to dig into that for a bit to find out what does this mean. But yeah, you see things like you have a
bird's eye view of things.
You know how to make things that look very confusing. You know how to make sense of things that look so. I've lived in confusion.
Yes.
So
yes,
I
she
had
does.
some practice.
Yes, she does.
And then they said some things. In the first round, I wasn't satisfied because I'm like, these sound like nice things. I must have some bad
developmental areas.
Yeah, I didn't even know it as developmental area. Tell me the bad things about myself. And that will freak people. Like, what do you mean tell me the bad things about yourself? People don't know how to give negative feedback. I learned that there. But I would beg follow-up and everything. And then they told me. So I did this analysis, pros and cons, good things I have. And I'm like, what profession? Because remember, I'm trying to figure out what to do. What profession does this? Will use this where it feels like I'm not working a day in my life. Because I heard that statement of, do something you love doing, so it'll be like you don't work it. Anyway, I believed it and I wanted that. So I just knew it has to be something that I'm good at, that I can build easily, because you can build your strengths more easily than you can close your gaps.
Yeah.
And something I enjoy doing. So I started trying to look for what to do, doing research about it. We didn't have internet at that time, so you can imagine the type of
research you were doing.
And then there were a few options that popped up. Narrowed it down to 3. Human resources was one of them, but the description that people would give of human resources just made me feel like this sounds like the most powerful role in any organization.
Okay.
But when people are explaining it, it sounds like the nanny of the organization.
True.
But I would do more digging and find out that maybe they don't know how powerful this role is meant to be. So I'm going to do that. So I graduated and said I was going to go and understand what it means, because I don't want to be a local champion. I want to get some academic underpinning.
Okay.
But there was no school offering it, no master, nothing at the time. I'm showing my age, guys. But I said, okay, there was the CIPM and they were offering courses. So I said, okay, I'll go and be a member and I will take courses there. So I'll learn what is HR looks like. But of course, you graduated, so you need to get a job. So I was like, okay, some of these skills I'll use in something else. Not science anymore, because I've moved away. If you're brilliant, doesn't mean you must do science. We need more people doing science, but if you... Story for another day. Let's
you don't have to do science, guys.
Yeah, but we need more women in science. So don't listen to this one I'm saying. But at that point, I wanted something that I would enjoy doing and I would leave an impact in the world. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to get that from science. And I did a stint in IT, like developing database administration. I was an IT sys at some point, and it was purely to earn money because it paid good at the time. It paid good. Oh, I had money anyway, and then I got into HR at some point and decided that the way I would practice HR would be the most powerful role in the organization. You can't be the most powerful role in the organization if you don't know what the business is selling.
True.
If you can't sell what the business is selling. If you don't know how everything works. And then you mix all of that together and you then help the business with your understanding to make sure you're adding only the best people. And you are making those best people that you add remain the best people and stay. And just so it's a lot of things. And I just thought this is a very scientific function or role, but we're treating it like admin. So I wanted to be in HR. So that's how I got into
So
HR.
you came in to transform the profession.
I don't know about transforming for profession because just little me like this cannot transform the profession. I just wanted to contribute in my own small section of the world, do it in the way that I thought and believed, and just grow in that space and just touch as many lives, do it well, and keep learning, make mistakes, run experiments. If what works, you repeat it, you transfer, you teach, you do all of that. And since then, I've been doing so. I did HR in companies for 20 years. And then for the last 2 years, I set up TGL Labs.
Hence the labs.
Yes, which is a lab for building people.
So we're still sciencey, but not in the way of like applied science.
It's people science.
It's people science that we're doing.
We're programming people.
Great. And change the game in HR. You are doing that, and it's always interesting to listen to your perspective because you always have one table to break. Or incinerate in many cases, just destroy the table, spread the ashes, and then we move on to build another table. So that's really that's really how you come across in the space, and it's always refreshing to listen to your perspectives. Okay, so we are still sitting with the amazing Coach EO, and we can't get everything in one day. This is going to be like series. Watch out, Game of Thrones type arrangements. We're going to like 17 different. I'm not serious. Don't worry. I was just joking. But we will continue this interview because it's important to unpack why you are the way you are, and then through that lens, see the impact you've made up until this point and what's next for Coach EO, because that one I'm super excited about. Please, I'm happy to partner. Angel investor, whatever investor, executive, whatever you need me to be, So in subsequent podcasts or in the next podcast, we'll be talking about, Coach EO and some of the lessons you've learned, some of the impact you've made, and what is next for you. So I am excited. We'll be shooting the next part. So thank you so much for watching this one, our subscribers. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, yeah?
Yes.
Follow us so you can get notifications that new episodes have come in, and then we'll see you at the next episode. Peace out.
Thank you, everyone.